Hey everyone, it's Megan Densmore. It is Freedom Friday and I have really enjoyed staying consistent with these videos, and thank you to everyone who has been tuning in and to people who are going to tune in today. I also appreciate that I have people who watch these after the fact, so all of that is great. So again, if you don't know me, my name is Megan Densmore. I am an actress, I am a producer, and I am a freedom coach. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about freedom coaching, what that is, why I do it, and I'd love to find out whether or not that's something that's right for you. So my request would be share this video, and I'm going to post a short survey that you can fill out online. It's 10 questions, and one of those questions is your name. One of those questions is your email address. So this is not something complicated to do. There's no commitment of any kind for filling out that survey. But what that survey is going to do is it's going to create a direct connection with me, and I'm going to reach out to you and we're going to have a conversation, whether that's on email, whether we end up on the phone, whether we end up in person or on Skype. Any of these things are fine. So I'm going to invite you to fill out that survey and take the time to do that. So again, my name is Megan Densmore. The reason that I feel that I am qualified to be a freedom coach, hey Tiff, it's good to see you, is that I have actually over about a decade slowly created different kinds of freedom in my life. So if you're someone over there who uses the word I feel stuck a lot, or I don't have any options, or I can't do that because fill in the blank, okay? I'm talking to you, and I still sometimes use that vocabulary, and I have an awesome coach who catches me on that and makes sure that she lets me know that that's a really risky place to be, because in reality we're never actually stuck. We just think we are, and it just may look like we are on the outside, but that's not actually true. And if we are in a mentality where we keep looking at it and thinking we're stuck and believing we're stuck, we put these blinders on and we start to miss seeing other opportunities that are available around us. So this is something I have struggled with and I'm aware of, and in many ways I still deal with on a day-to-day basis. So I am never going to judge you or not know where you're coming from when you're talking about that kind of a challenge. I've even dealt with being stuck in my physical body and having to learn how to develop freedom in movement patterns and flexibility, and freedom around health and fitness things, freedom around new dietary changes that I've had to make, or being aware of how my body reacts to things. I also think all of this stuff is related and connected. So I'm curious about what people are doing with their health, or how their mental health is around things. So if we're talking about business things, entrepreneurship, opportunity related to finances, that's not going to be separate from opportunity and freedom around your physical health, your physical body, and things like that. That's important that you know about my philosophy. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the businesses that I currently have and how I got there. And again, remember the invitation stands that I would love to connect with you and hear the same for you. So the beginning of this video is going to be a little bit about me, and then it's going to be about you. And at the end of this video, I'm going to offer 2 different opportunities that you could do to work with me. They're different, but they have a similar theme. And that's going to come back to this commentary that I had just now about health and freedom around health and fitness. Okay, so remember that. That's going to be relevant later. So a little bit about me. 11 years ago or so, I became a certified Pilates instructor. And at that time, I was also working at Starbucks. I had a job, and it wasn't a very high-paying job. I had that job because it gave me health insurance. At the time, I couldn't get health insurance because I had a pre-existing condition. So, had a job that gave me health insurance. I figured out how to pay to become a Pilates instructor, and I didn't really know where I would go from there. Then I transitioned in having a job as a Pilates instructor. I was in an employee model, kind of. The fitness industry has changed. That's a long story I won't get into. But I started to learn about how it was to be an independent contractor on 1099 as a Pilates instructor. But essentially, I showed up, a different studio found clients for me, they booked me, I taught them, I went home. Okay. Fast forward from there, I started to get my own clients. I started to be a little bit entrepreneurial as a Pilates instructor, but not really. I didn't really understand how to do that. And I moved to New York and I kept doing this sort of, I have a job teaching people Pilates. And I traded my time for my money. Then I actually started working with a company called Shackley about almost 6 years ago. It'll be 6 years ago next month. That experience gave me a mentor who then taught me about entrepreneurship. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. All you need to know is that I was mentored and I had education around what it meant to not just have a job. Okay? So from a very general perspective, I learned about business ownership. I learned even more about being on 1099. I learned about investments. I learned about being able to have what I call future someday maybe money, where I actually have created something that I own or that I share with partners that could eventually pay me more money later. An example of this is writing a book, or for me, producing a movie. So when someone writes a book, they own something that they've created, and if people want to publish it or, buying it, reading it, getting royalties, this can turn into other opportunities, other book deals, other things like that. So just giving you the idea of owning something that then you can make money off of, either in the short term or the long term. Another example of that would be to invest in a company, buy a stock, and that is something you own that can give you some returns later. So I just started learning about that, and that was not something that I had much understanding about, except that both of my parents were entrepreneurs who owned their own businesses. So I did understand that there was something positive about being the person who actually owned the business instead of working day in and day out for someone else who owned the business. Okay, so now we're just looking at concepts. Now, I was able to take that mindset and actually apply it to being a Pilates instructor. In March of this year, with a partner, because I also learned the value of partnership and not doing things alone, I actually opened a Pilates studio. And it's not a traditional Pilates studio where I'm hiring employees, because I actually don't really believe in that in the traditional way. Now, there's nothing wrong with being an employee, and I'll come back to that later, but I'm really into creating opportunities where people can find freedom and have ownership. And if you work for a company, there are ways to do that as well. You can actually get into a profit sharing situation with your company, and many companies, actually startups especially, are getting people involved at the ground floor and helping them become actual members of that company, even if they weren't one of the founders who started it. So I started to get that, okay, I want to create opportunities for other people to own something. And as a Pilates instructor, I owned the clientele that I built over the years. So my Pilates studio is set up so that teachers can come and rent my space, but they build and bring their own clients. I don't own their clients. They just pay me by the hour to use my studio space that I invested and set up. So even this mindset and this entrepreneurial model has impacted how I do business now as a Pilates instructor. And I actually don't teach Pilates very much myself anymore. Instead, I've focused on taking my expertise and my knowledge from renting studio space all over the city to create this other place that is really positive for these teachers, with the goal of introducing and encouraging them to have freedom. So that's just an idea of how this education moved forward for me in one example. Another example is my production company. With a partner, I own a production company, and we are creating projects that we own or partially own with other investors that we can then sell to actually receive a return on investment. So now I'm going back to freedom coaching and mentorship with me, what that means and how that works. So in the survey that, again, I hope you will take, I'm going to ask you a little bit about how you feel about entrepreneurship, and I'm going to ask you a little bit about what you dream to do that you are not doing. Because when people coach with me, we bring all of that along. Some of my favorite mentees that I've had over the past few years, and I have been freedom coaching people for about 6 years officially. And the people that I've had over the years, they always bring a couple different things that they want to work on. Again, they usually have a health goal, something like health and fitness related that they want accountability around. They usually have something immediate that they're working on, an immediate goal around business or work, like maybe they're an employee of a company and they want to figure out how to help that company see the value in keeping them on as a freelancer, but they want to maybe stop being an employee, and I can help them navigate how to do that. And they also usually have something entrepreneurial that they want to create from scratch that they want to do. And I don't judge. The coaching that I give impacts all of these things. If you're able to see that you have value in your job, then you can start to see that you have value in this business or company or creative endeavor you want to build or create. And then if you see you have value there, it's cool. You start to see you have value, and your health starts to benefit because you have enough value to get yourself to the gym or to start your day with a green smoothie or make healthy choices in that way. So when we're coaching in one thing, it impacts the other things, and we take them all along together. As that happens, we start to see really interesting development and growth in people's relationships and general feeling of happiness and well-being around feeling like they can ask for what they want and see what they want in other areas of their lives. So that's the concept we're working with here. Now, I have 2 real physical opportunities that people can join me on. So you can't hire me directly as a freedom coach. Like, you can't just like call me up or email me and say, hey Megan, I want you to freedom coach me, I'll pay you. That's not actually something that I offer. And partly that's because I know that that's not the way that I work. If you email me and you say, hey Megan, I want to hire you as a coach, I'm actually going to lovingly refer you to a couple of coaches that I have who do exactly that. It's just different. They're asking for you to pay for their time in such a way that it creates a lot of value for you. Again, I have a coach who I hired, who I think is phenomenal. She's one of the people that I refer. So if that's what you're looking for, is really just like, I want to pay you, Megan, I want you to coach me, and you're going to take me through it, that's awesome. I have referrals for you. So just know that that's available as well. If you actually want to work with me, it is a specific investment of usually around $300 to $350, depending on which option you want, 1 or 2. There is an option to invest a little more than that, but that's basically where we start. And with both of the options, you actually start a business. So it's different in that you're not directly, yes, you're paying for my time, but what you're doing is you're putting an investment in, and you actually get to immediately own something, and you get to learn about entrepreneurship in the way that I did. Now, this is what I did. I paid a few $100s. I think I paid around $600, and I invested in a business through which I got mentorship and coaching, which then taught me how to launch these other businesses and companies and begin developing freedom in my life. Now, both of the opportunities that I have relate to helping people with health and fitness. So again, in order for these to be the right thing for you, you have to have a passion for wanting to help others to be healthier, and you have to be willing to have some sometimes challenging conversations with people about how they're doing. I'm a person where I'm an empath, which basically just means that people love to tell me when things are wrong or when they need support or if they need a hug. I'm generally the person they talk to. So for me, being a Pilates instructor and moving into helping people with health and fitness in other ways was really natural, because people tend to tell me the scary, hard things or the embarrassing things or the things that they don't want to talk about. I can't even go a day where somebody's not talking to me about their pooping. Like, I can't actually go through a day where that doesn't happen. I don't know if that's normal, but that's what my life is like. So you sort of have to sign up and be ready to have some challenging conversations where people might get a little vulnerable. There might be some emotion, and that's important to know that's a part of this. So option number 1 is something that I mentioned earlier. You can work with me with a company called Shaklee. This company has been around for 60 years. It is carbon neutral. It has 0 carbon footprint, and it offers an awesome array of natural nutrition products and skincare products and cleaning products for the home that I personally use and have used for a long time. The reason this company matters to me personally is because these products are a big part of my lifestyle that allows me to remain in remission from my chronic invisible illness, my pre-existing condition that I mentioned earlier, which is fibromyalgia. These vitamins are very important to me, and they help me maintain my day-to-day health and my life. So that's option 1. There you have nutrition, some sort of counseling around health and wellness, and those kinds of things. An investment to get going on that, again, is around $350. But you are on 1099 with this company called Shaklee. You will learn entrepreneurship from me, and you will learn about that business as well. And again, I'm going to ask you if it's right. People that I'm asking for me to join and do this with me, I really want you to come with something else. I want you to come with a big goal. Now, that might be, I want to run a marathon. Awesome. I will freedom coach you around figuring out what it needs to do, what needs to change for you to be able to run a marathon. Or it could be, I have this idea for a startup. I've been dreaming to start this company. What do I do? Where do I start? So you would get coached on both things along the way, and we're going to include them together. So that also applies to option 2. Option 2 is, I've been posting a lot lately about an online workout program that I have that's called 0 to Hero. This is specifically an exercise program that I designed based upon my own personal experience and a lot of the clients that I've worked with over the past over a decade who have different kinds of chronic conditions, chronic pain, chronic illness, fibromyalgia as well, and those kinds of things. And I find that this program is going to be very important for probably a really broad audience of people. As far as marketing is concerned, I'm starting pretty narrow. I'm starting connecting with the fibromyalgia community. And so there's an opportunity for you, again, for about a $300 buy-in, $325 I think it is. What that gets you is access to the program yourself so that you can see what it's about. In many cases, I think the perfect people to share this program are going to be people who actually need to do the program themselves. So I'm giving you the program at 50% off, and you're able to come on as an affiliate and begin to share that program with other people. So that looks like, again, having difficult and challenging conversations, sometimes networking, sometimes finding some of these people. The amazing thing is that there are actually millions of people in the United States and internationally who are dealing with fibromyalgia, if we just start there, not to mention all of the people with related conditions who could benefit from this. Things like chronic back pain, chronic knee pain. We also would have chronic fatigue syndrome is a tricky one. Some people with chronic fatigue syndrome might be able to do this. Others, it might not work as well, so we'd have to talk on that. And other chronic invisible illnesses where they just don't know where to start with exercise, but their doctors are telling them that it is a helpful thing to do. I would even say that this program would work for somebody who just has never exercised or barely exercised, or they start to exercise and the minute they get on a plan they get injured. So then how do they keep exercising after that? This program is designed to help people consistently build up that endurance and efficiency and body awareness that's going to enable them to listen to the signals in their body and hopefully prevent injury for the future. So it's a year-long program. The value of that program is $750. And I'm really interested in having people help me share this on a broad scale. And guess what? If this is something you want to do, I'm going to coach you on how to do that. How do you have those conversations? Do you set up a blog? Do you use social media? How do you market yourself in that way? And same as the other opportunity, I want you to bring something else along the way. And again, maybe that's a personal health or fitness goal that you have for yourself. You get me as a coach. So you get a private fitness coach working with me indefinitely when you have that opportunity as well. So, and maybe again, you have another business that you want to launch and we want to coach you on that. I hope you're getting the theme here. The theme is that if you work with me in one of these opportunities, you get me as a coach. This is the only way you can get me as a coach. You could tell me, Megan, I want to give you $10,000 to be my life coach. And I would say, awesome, I'm not actually trained to do that. Let me refer you out. So for around $350, you can set up to get some entrepreneurship coaching with me, health coaching, and all of those related things. So if this inspired you, please share this video. I'm going to drop the link to the survey below this video, and I invite you to fill it out, even if you're just curious. And there is no commitment. The survey is literally just us getting into a conversation, and you can use that survey to connect with me. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. I'm excited to share these opportunities and to be able to increase my bandwidth of how many people that I am coaching around freedom. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate everyone who did that. Again, my name is Megan Densmore. I'm an actress, I'm a producer, and I'm a freedom coach, and I look forward to connecting with you. Have a great week, everybody.